Hey, good morning. Richard Borston here with Gravel Driveway Recovery. And we have a combo project today. We've got to bury some roof drain, something we do a lot of, and then we're going to fix the driveway. The reason that we do that is because the water coming off the roof can cause a lot of damage to gravel driveways. And so we want to protect that driveway, all the money that's being invested into this driveway that you can see could use some help. And then we're going to put in the new driveway. So we've got a good one today. Actually, I really like it when we do a holistic approach and are able to take care of all the water that's coming on or off the driveway. And you can see this is how the situation is right now. This is actually right here where we're looking is a piece of property, and then there's a property just above it that's feeding into it, and we're actually going to bury some of their roof drains that actually aren't part of the owner property here, but we're going to take care of it because they come across his property and he wants to be a good neighbor and also take care of the water. That crush that you just saw is what we're going to use to backfill. We always backfill across drive aisles with gravel, and then we'll typically just use the spoils off the dig to backfill anything that's not being driven over. You can see that yellow wire there. That's actually not a wire. It's the propane line that was coming right across where we were going to be digging. So we dug it up, unhooked it, dug it up, and got it out of the way so that we could get a clean dig all the way across and not have to worry about hitting it. Right where that excavator is, there was a water line coming across, and so we got to have the fun of finding it, actually connecting it. You could see it popping up there, and that's because he hadn't quite finished it yet. So we ended up digging across there and helping him connect it and then backfilling it. So it was a bit of find and connect and replace. It was at a little time, but nothing too big. These are PVC. They're 0% PSI, and we use these a lot of times for our underground. We tend to like to use them as opposed to the corrugated ones that when budgets allow. They don't always do that. We've also started using a thing called triple wall, and that you may see on some other projects in the future, and that's just been really good, performing well for us. It does require us to glue. Now here you can see we used a little of the existing corrugated just to make those turns, and then we went with the PVC going forward. And here we're just taking our time, getting it all backfilled. Here you can see us backfilling in with that crush. We'll lay all that crush in. We'll generally hold the lines as we're backfilling, and then after we backfill, we'll get our compactor and we'll roll it. We'll compact it right there, and then we will. That'll allow us to then start building the road. And here you can see we had a little extra left over, so we're sprinkling it in. Start working on getting the driveway up to speed. It's a nice fresh day, day 2 on the project. The grinder, that's what we call it. It's really a soils conditioner. Some people call it a Harley rake. We really like it because for things of this nature, it allows us to just turn over, get everything just the way we want it. You can see it takes out all the vegetation and allows us to control the way it's graded out. And for situations like this, I really like it better than a blade. Sometimes a blade is just the right tool for the job, but for situations like this where I've got loose rock that I need to turn over and want to bring it back up, and then I'll come back in and compact it, I like turning it over as opposed to blading it. A lot of the reason for that is because I'm not actually trying to move the material horizontally, I'm trying to move it vertically. And so by turning it, I'm really just picking it up, turning it up, picking it up, laying it back down. And so it's not really moving, and because this isn't something I want to move, this is something that I want to just raise vertically and then recompact. And you can see here, it doesn't get all the grass perfectly. Those are all just patches. They are derooted, if you will. They've been lifted up, and they're not actually attached to the soil anymore. But when it's a heavy vegetation, sometimes it's hard to get all of it. It won't matter. We'll be covering it with tons and tons and tons of gravel. And so at the end of the day, it won't be an issue. There are times when we want the trucks to spread because it just saves us a lot of time, and then there's other times where it just makes sense for them to dump it and we bucket it out. This is one of those situations with the curve and the tightness of the spread and the wideness of the area we're trying to spread. It would take longer for us to keep repositioning the truck and doing these short little drops, resets. Way faster to just put it on the ground and get my son here, Joey, to get it all spread out. He's just doing the rough grade right now, and then he'll start putting the fine grade together. And the reason that he does that, you want to get all the material spread out, make sure you've got your coverage that you need, and then you can come back and get the grade corrected. And that's exactly what you can see him doing right here. He's doing all that fine grading, getting the pitch correct, getting the uneven spots, any extra gravel that we don't need, picks up, and we'll use it somewhere else. Also, it is a nice trick for bucketing gravel, especially when you're doing grading, is to put some gravel in the bucket. It gives a little more weight, allows you to grade a little easier, especially when you're back dragging. Now in this case, you can see that we've got the truck spreading because it's just a nice straight shot. He comes in. The reason why you'll notice, hey, he's not putting gravel on that other section, but the reason why is because we're actually pitching it towards that downhill side. And so we want to build up the uphill side and have it pitching out. So you see we actually are raking that in. We do a lot of raking. We don't show a whole lot of it on these videos, but we do a lot of raking, and it's not because my son's not a great skid steer operator. He is, but it is a lot faster at times for us to get those edges with the rakes and pull the material out into those edges and fine-tune it than it is for him to come at it and come at it and come at it. So we do a combination of the two. We obviously try to minimize the rake as much as we can. It's a lot faster to use a bucket, but sometimes it's faster to do the rake, and so you've got to do what you need to do to get the job done well and efficiently. And here you can see he's coming back in with the other side. They always get nervous when they see those wires up ahead, up above, and I don't blame them. And that's why oftentimes I'll spot for them and keep an eye on those wires as they're spreading, and I sit there giving them thumbs up, thumbs down to let them know if they need to be, if they're okay or if they need to come down, etc. And they always seem to appreciate that. Of course, they're keeping an eye on it themselves. They don't just rely on me, but having another set of eyes to give them a perspective is helpful for them. And again, you see Joey here just distributing material. He's not trying to get it right. A lot of times people, think, especially when you're first starting, you think, oh, I've got to get this spread perfectly on the first drop. No, you don't. Just get it down. Don't worry about it. And then you can come back in and touch it up. Another reason why I like to rake is I want to get my eyes on the ground looking at every little detail. We're very detail oriented when we're putting these final grades together because we want the water moving in a certain way and not getting trapped in any way. And so by getting our feet on the ground and looking at it outside of the machine, it allows us to have it just so that once we roll it, we're not going to have any problems, and ideally not have any callbacks. When I reached out to the owner here a little bit ago, asked him how the driveway's doing, his response was, it's still there. So sometimes we get comedians for clients. But no, he said everything's working really good as it should, and he couldn't be happier. And once again, we're here rolling. This is such a critical part of the job. This is what really sets the grade, allows us to control how and what is being compacted and not rely upon machines or vehicles to compact. We compact the whole thing evenly so that it's uniformly compact, and that allows us to control the future durability of the driveway. If we were to let a vehicle compact it or just use the machine to compact it, it doesn't even get close. A skid steer like this is not even going to get close to compacting it as much as it really needs. And so you can see here's the finished job. We've got a nice pitch coming from the right side to the left as we're looking at it. You can see all of our pipes are underground. We won't have any sinking because we backfilled with the crush and compacted it. And there you go. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and watching this. I hope it was helpful and enjoyable. And God bless.